so our next speaker is Joanne Johnson, and I'll just turn it over to her. But after Joanne, we're going to have a break and let you guys chat and whatnot and get some more coffee and treats. Joanne, stage is yours.
Hello. So they invited me back. So I'm doing one of the things that I had planned to talk about last month, and you know, when you're given a time limit, that's no fun. And I titled it The Circle of Life, where you get everything kind of working together. So like you get a worm farm going and you feed worms to the ducks and you feed duck poop to the worms, and you've got a garden over here and the worm castings go in the garden and garden scraps goes back into the worm bin, and you can get these whole cycles going that if they're working right, they can save you a lot of money. Now I haven't actually established a worm farm yet, so that's a goal for this year. But and the same if you can have the different kinds of animals, you know, like if you have pigs. Well, we did have pigs years ago, so all your extra stuff that you end up, you know, in the scraps and everything gives you a really healthy food source for your pigs to supplement, so you're not having to buy as much pig feed. So with that in mind, we had started I'm right on bedrock. You can actually see the bedrock in places, and some places you can dig down a couple of inches, but you know, this is Haliburton. And so we started these raised beds, and this was a few years ago. And so you can't really tell, oh maybe you can up here, it's so big. This chicken wire was going to be the side of it, and then on top of the chicken wire we put cardboard. And then with this was the third one, we got old, like kind of, what's that word, punky firewood to put in the bottom. And then we put in the bales of hay, and then we put on the front wall. Well, this is where a lot of what I'm just telling you is what not to do. If you do that, take the binder twine off the hay bales, because all the dirt and everything was just going down between them. So the following year, I had to climb in there and dig and find all the binder twine and cut it and pull it out and ruffle up the hay and get it. And that worked a lot better. And then this last picture, my husband put in a water system so that we could soak the hay before we put the soil in. But we ended up with a really good garden. We had like wonderful crops. There's just a wheelbarrow full of stuff on one haul, you know, when you're that time of year, when you're bringing it all in. And these, you know, zucchinis, we were getting zucchinis this big, and I have never had them that big since then, so I don't know if it was a different kind of zucchini, but now they just like look like normal zucchinis. And then as we were expanding things, you can see in the next picture I had a canoe, and I've actually put perennials in there, and they come back, and I wasn't sure that they would, but because it's sitting on the ground, I guess it stays warm enough. So that came up, and then this is a herb garden that I used a wooden bed frame for, and just put extra planks in, and it became a herb garden, and almost all of them came back. So even though it's up off the ground. But one of the problems we had is the deer coming. I planted lots of sunflowers around, and the deer come and they bite the top of the sunflower off. Well, then that's it. You're not going to have a sunflower. So I rigged up some like barriers. This is a plastic netting, very, very lightweight and easy to manage, on 2x2s. And then what it ended up looking like from the road was like picture frames. When you can see in front of the vegetable garden, I had all kinds of coneflowers and things, and there's some squash in there, pumpkin, I think. And so it looked actually quite nice, and it was just 2x2s and plastic fencing, which didn't cost a lot of money. And there you can just get another view of that. So this picture is a commercial. On my farm, I have these yellow flowers, and I've tried to Google what kind they are, and all I can come up with is yellow flowers. But my son there is 6'1", and I got him in there just so you can get some perspective on how wonderfully dramatic these flowers are. So if anybody would like some, because they propagate very easily, they spread, and I could actually, I should have asked, where's Mark? I should have asked you. If somebody does want them, I could bring them in the Kawartha Dairy ice cream buckets. And to your store, would that work? And then they could pick them up because I have lots. And I transplanted a bunch last year, and they took wonderfully. They're all coming up again this year. So that's my commercial. They won't cost you anything. So it actually needs another word other than commercial because it's not a commerce thing. So, you know the hot tub store right at Highway 35 and 21? So he had this great big crate out there in his parking lot that was 7 feet by 7 feet, and I kept looking at it and thinking, oh, there's another garden. So I stopped it and asked him, and sure enough, he said I could take it away, and we took it away and took the top off and took the bottom off and planted corn in it. I also planted some sunflower seeds. So it turns out that was a mistake. So the deer were coming along and eating the tops of the sunflower seeds. So I put bird netting, I put uprights in it, I guess you can see that, and put the bird netting around, which is great. And this is how it was beautiful. Until the fall when the raccoons climbed in over the top, and I couldn't put a top on it because of the silly sunflower seeds. So sunflowers. So this year, no sunflower seeds in with the corn. And that way I use chicken wire and keep the raccoons out, and maybe we'll have a corn roast. So this was my sweet potato bin, and that worked out quite well because I made it so the front could be taken off and you can dig out the potatoes really easily and put the dirt back in. But I'm going to put the worm farm in this year and see how that works. And somebody had given, these are pieces of fencing, just the corners, I think from a dog kennel. And my daughter and son-in-law had used them over their snowmobiles for the winter and tarped them, but it actually wasn't a very good idea because the snow kind of made them sink down, and I think by the time spring came, they were resting on the snowmobiles. But they worked really well for the squashes because you can, the vines can climb up. You just have to make sure the fruit is up on top. But, and now to do it again this summer, I'm going to put lots of cardboard underneath them because you couldn't get underneath to cut the grass and the weeds and everything, so it was hard to get everything out. But anyway, that's all I had to share today was all these things that you just jump in with 2 feet and try things and keep notes so that you know what not to do the following year.
Joanne?
Yes. Oh, any questions?
Yeah. Can you describe a bit about the worm farm, what your plan is there, and how you're going to start that, what its intentions for, and the circle around that?
Okay. Now, I can talk about what I'm hoping to be able to do.
Yeah.
As long as you understand I haven't actually done it yet. So I haven't made my mistakes yet. But I've gone online, and actually, you know who does know is Andrew Graham. And he was here the first night. I haven't seen him since, but he's in the farm right in Minden across from Home Hardware.
Oh, yeah.
But you just put in the layers of the soil and the cardboard and anything that you think they'll eat, and you put the worms in, and then you feed them on the top. But they propagate so quickly, apparently, that you can actually feed them to the ducks, and then you'll put the duck manure in, or the chicken manure, right inside on the top of the worm bin.
Oh.
Now I also have we have a chicken barn that has a middle room in it where there's no outside walls, and so I'm hoping that I'm actually going to be able to start up a worm farm in there for the winter, and that they would actually keep, because it won't be cold. We don't have heat in the barn, but it's the warmest place. So just in layers. They call it lasagna, you just do layers of stuff, and they find their way around, and they make this wonderful garden stuff castings.
What kind of worms and where are you getting them from?
Well, I'll probably get them from Andrew, but they're called red wigglers. They're just small, skinny worms. But apparently there are some that are big enough for fishing. Yeah. Anything else? Okay.
Good.